Hey, Reynolds family. This is Jewell Booker, and I wanted to help everyone who wants to know how to use Canvas to create a grading scheme so that when it's time for grades to be due, you don't have to assign letter grades manually. So I'm going to walk you through that quick process of setting it up in Canvas so that the letter grades are automatically assigned for your classes. Here we go. I'm going to use my Canvas sandbox to show you how to do this, and we're going to take it step by step. So the first step that you're going to want to do is to actually think about what your grading scale details are going to be. Personally, I use rounding to the nearest tenth. In other words, if a student earns a 79.5, it's going to automatically give them that 80. That does not happen by default with the VCCS standard that's loaded in Canvas. So you have to think about how specific you want to be. So I'm going to show you the way that I do it when I set it up so that it rounds automatically to one decimal place or to the nearest 10th. So the first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to navigate to my Canvas page. And from my Canvas page, you're going to scroll to the bottom and we're going to choose the settings. All right. So the course settings here, in the general course detail section, you'll notice if you scroll down a bit, you'll see the option for grading scheme. So you're going to want to enable the grading scheme as your third step. Once you choose enable, you'll see that there's a default here. I honestly don't even know what that is. I come straight to the 10-point VCCS standard that most of us have as a rule for our syllabi. Now, if we look at that grading scheme, hopefully you can see it with the pop-up, but you'll notice less than 90 to 80% gives you a B, 100% to 90, and so on and so on and so on, right? That is the range of 10-point VCCS standard. So if you don't want to round, you can keep it there. However, if you choose to do like I do, then I choose the 10-point VCCS, but choose copy. That way, I'm duplicating my own, and I'm going to give this a name 10-point rounded. And now for my A, instead of 100% to 90, I'm going to say to 89.5. That way, this will count as a 90 for me. And I'm going to do that for all of the rest of them so that my students will have the benefit of that one decimal place rounding. So once I've saved it, now just go to update course details. And actually, before I do that, I've saved the scheme. I'm going to leave it here for now, and I'm going to show you guys the difference. So first, I'm going to come to my grades for this course, and I have my test student in here. So notice this student right now has an 89.57%, right? We know that we would want to round that to a 90, but for the VCCS 10-point scale, that would give them a B because it's not a 90 yet. So now there's no letter grade there, but if I come back to the settings for my course and I choose the VCCS standard rounded that I've created, enable, is it still there? There we go. 10-point rounded, and I use that. I'm going to update my course details. And now when I come back to grades, this student has earned their A. So if you want to do this right before grades come out, that's fine. Or if you do it at the beginning of the semester, you'll have the opportunity to have your students learn the process as they go along of how well they're doing in terms of letter grade and not just number. It's really helpful for them, I think, sometimes to be able to kind of look up and see, oh, so far I have a B if I want to work toward an A, and so on and so forth. So once again, let's go ahead and recap those steps. If we start off, decide what your grading scale is going to be. Are you going to round or not? VCCS standard 10-point scale does not round. You're going to go to your course settings in Canvas. That's at the bottom. You're going to find that grading scheme and check enable. Once you've done that, use your decision from step 1 of which one you want. I had to mark out default because the default is not VCCS's default. It's the default for whoever created Canvas. That's not us. But the VCCS 10-point scale is the unrounded option if you chose that. Or choose your 10-point VCCS and copy it so that you can adjust and create your own rounding settings. And once you've done that, save it and apply and update. Now, here's the cool part. When grades are due, there's going to be that really cool button in SIS that says import grades from Canvas. If you've created a grading scheme, you won't have to put in A's, B's, C's, D's, S. You'll be able to automatically import by clicking that button. And it'll be just a one-step thing. All right, guys, hope this was helpful. Have a great day.